Thank you so much, Janet, for the introduction. Can you all hear me? Yes, okay. Let me share my screen. All right, I was going to say good morning. It's good morning where I am in Southern California, but good afternoon for probably a lot of you. My name is Amy Sadek, and just a small correction, I'm actually doing some consulting for the American College of Lifestyle Medicine now. So that was my former position as assistant professor. So just a little bit of a change there. So I'm excited to share with you some brain health tips and strategies today. And our workshop objectives that are going to guide us for the brief time that we're sharing together this afternoon include defining the function and purpose of the brain, reviewing some facts about the aging brain, and then identifying some lifestyle factors and behaviors that we can do to enhance and promote our own brain health. So what is the actual purpose and function of our brain? What is it doing for us? It allows for all kinds of processes, including thought, memory, our emotions, touch, motor skills, vision, even our basic needs such as respiration, hunger, satiety, letting us know if we're full or hungry, and connection. So our brain helps us make connections through experiences, through learning, through language, and all sorts of facets. And just briefly, I want to touch on some facts about the aging brain. So age is actually the strongest known risk factor when we think about things like dementia and Alzheimer's, and the incidence and prevalence of these disorders increases exponentially after we hit 65 years of age, and nearly doubles every 5 years from 65 to 95 years of age. But there are other risk factors beyond age. So other risk factors include smoking, consuming excess alcohol, hearing loss, having deficiencies in vitamin B12 or vitamin D, and thyroid disease, just to name a few. But there are modifiable risk factors. And what do I mean by that? Those are things that we actually can have some control over and influence in our life. So things like loneliness and paying attention to our social connections, stress and managing that, having coping mechanisms in place, sleep disorders. And one of the things I'm excited to share with you all is about some of these lifestyle factors. So some of these lifestyle factors can actually help reduce risk through this approach called neuro, which we'll cover some of these today. So neuro stands for, N is for the nutrition, E is for exercise, U is for unwind or that stress management piece, the R is for getting restorative sleep, and the O is for optimizing social and mental activity. So these are really similar to some of these pillars of lifestyle medicine. The other one would be avoiding risky substances, but those are all things that we can do through healthy lifestyle behaviors that can sort of help our aging brain. So when we look at one of the E of the neuro, so the exercise and brain health, there's somewhat of a lack of consensus in the scientific literature in terms of the exact type and frequency and duration of exercise, but they certainly all help. So all forms of exercise, such as walking or strength training or balance exercise, perhaps through yoga, those are all really great for the mind and the body. And some of those benefits include improving blood flow to the brain. They increase our hippocampus size, which is the memory center of our brain. They increase BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor that helps increase brain cells and connectivity and neuroplasticity and things like that. And actually, in some studies, they have found that hippocampus, or our memory center, that size increased by 2%, and BDNF increased after 1 year of doing 3 days a week of 40-minute aerobic exercise. So that kind of cardio-intensive exercise. Another study found that high-intensity aerobic exercise reduced the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 45%. So again, all of this movement is really helpful. In the literature, stretching seems to have sort of the least benefit in terms of brain health specifically, but it certainly benefits musculoskeletal health and other benefits as well. I went a little bit out of order, but we're going to go back to the end. So looking at nutrition and brain health. So the types of foods that our brain really thrives on includes those whole foods, plant-based foods. So fiber-rich foods are really great. Omega-3 fatty acids, which you can really consume with or without the use of fish. You can get those through flax seeds, hemp seeds, quinoa, and walnuts. Those are all really rich in those omega-3s. And then, of course, limiting our intake of more processed foods that include salt and sugars. So thinking of like French fries or donuts or all of those foods that really aren't coming from a natural source. So when you think about brain health, there's even the Mind diet that is relatively new, and that's sort of a combination of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet, which is for hypertension. So that diet really emphasizes a lot of whole food plants, a lot of leafy greens, and berries are really emphasized in that diet as well. All good for brain health. And then when we look at sleep and brain health, so our brain uses about 25% of our energy and requires anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep for adults, essentially 18 years and older. And when we're sleeping, our brain really benefits this because it helps organize our thoughts. We're consolidating our memories during sleep, and the brain is sort of getting a bath or a cleanse, if you will. And the more total sleep that we get, it actually reduces our risk of dementia. And then on the other hand, disrupted sleep can sort of lead to more cognitive decline. And insomnia, which is essentially when we have trouble falling or staying asleep, certainly impacts things like our episodic memory, our working memory, our attention, and our executive function. And research has shown that the lowest rates of dementia have actually been found in people who get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. So when we talk about sleep, we need to think about how can we improve our sleep, right? So we do this through what we call sleep hygiene. And so having a routine sleep and wake time are really critical for that. And then on the weekends, the lifestyle medicine folks suggest that we don't sleep in more than an hour over our wake up time during the week. So let's say you wake up at 6 Monday through Friday, try not to sleep in past 7 a.m. on the weekends. Of course, technology, that blue light effect, I would suggest limiting technology, at least an hour before bed is kind of when you should start your wind down routine, and certainly avoid technology in bed if possible. I know it's really easy to scroll our devices, or if you have a TV in your bedroom, it's very tempting to turn that on, but the recommendation is to limit technology in bed. Also, try not to eat or drink 3 hours before bed. So let's say you sleep around 10, try and cut off fluids and food around 7 p.m. This is for a couple of reasons. So obviously, the more fluids we drink, we might have to wake up and use the restroom, or if you're on medication, sometimes that also influences restroom use, and that creates an interruption in our sleep. But then for food, the digestion stuff that's happening at night can sort of make it harder to sleep. And foods that we eat generally after 7 p.m. are considered more obesogenic. So they contribute more to weight gain because we're not using that to burn off energy or to do anything, right? We're sleeping and we're resting. And then the other recommendation is the bed should really have restricted use. The bed is only for sleep and sex. It should not be for watching TV, snacking on popcorn, or whatever it is. So really limiting the bed for what its primary use is for. And then preparing your environment. So preparing yourself and the environment for rest and relaxation. So whatever your wind down routine is, that could be maybe taking a warm bath or shower, meditation, maybe listening to soft music, dimming the lights. They also suggest that around 70 degrees is sort of the ideal temperature, maybe 67 to 70 degrees is really nice for a sleep environment. So these are all things that we can sort of do to prepare ourselves, our bodies, and the environment to have good sleep hygiene. Of course, life always throws at us, expected or unexpected demands that disrupt our sleep. But if we can generally practice these habits more routinely, they can certainly help. So when we think about our brain and working it out, right, what does that look like? So our brains do require a good amount of good stress or eustress to kind of remain sharp. So doing things that are novel, that are exciting and challenging are all really great. So doing activities that might force you to slow down and pay attention. That could be doing your Wordle for the day, maybe completing a puzzle, a crossword puzzle, something like that, and getting a little bit uncomfortable. There were a couple of studies that showed that older adults who frequently took part in Stimulating leisure activities such as reading or board games, even playing musical instruments, and even dancing were a lot less likely to develop dementia over 21 years compared to those who participated in these activities less frequently. So the more frequently you can engage in these types of things, certainly the better. And then another study showed that older adults who underwent 10 sessions of brain training, as they called it, where they were taught sort of these mnemonics to boost their ability to remember either lists of words or things like that. They were also taught strategies to identify and remember letter and word patterns. And they played computer games that were designed to improve their reaction time. Those older adults improved in a lot of different occupations, including shopping, housework, meal preparation, adapting to change, looking up phone numbers, reacting to road signs, reading and understanding prescription medicine labels, and so many more benefits came out of these activities. And those effects lasted up to 5 years after brain training. So there's a lot of things that we can do and engage in our leisure time to help this. And here's just a few tips for that, sort of engaging a healthy, active brain. So continuing to play an instrument if you already know how, maybe picking up to learn to play an instrument if that's something that's new to you, singing in a choir, something that's also noted in the literature, and maybe if you're involved in a faith group or some other sort of community group. Playing board games, puzzles are all really great. And again, they require our brain to sort of pause, dial in and focus, right? So it's something that's challenging and novel and exciting for the brain. Learning a new language is another great way to do this. The creative arts, so if you're into drawing or painting or crocheting, those are really great activities. Reading is a classic that has a lot of benefits, maybe joining a book club of some sort, exploring new places or traveling if and when that's possible for folks. And then teaching someone something new. That could be a family friend, a grandchild, or just someone you meet in the grocery store about a recipe or something. So all of these activities and options really allow for our brain to slow down, pay attention, and create opportunities for challenge and excitement for the brain. So these are my references, and thank you again for taking time this afternoon to share your time with me. Feel free to email me if you have any questions, or I can take questions now if there are any.
Since we're sort of informal today, more so than usual, just unmute yourself and ask your question directly. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, as always, put it in the chat.
Hi, Amy. My name is Macy. I have a quick question. Can you hear me okay? Oh, sorry, yes. I did not raise my hand. So I am also an occupational therapist, and am also very interested in nutrition, particularly plant-based nutrition, and I'm wondering how you have included nutrition into your occupational therapy practice, maybe outside of lifestyle medicine or as an adjunct to.
Yeah, well, nice to meet another fellow OT. Thanks for your question. Yeah, my bachelor's degree was in nutrition and food science, so it's sort of always been in the background of my professional work in a sense, but I formerly worked in pediatrics, and one of the outpatient clinics I worked at, a lot of the nutrition stuff came through programming, so it wasn't always directly in my sessions unless we were working on feeding per se. And then more recently, I've been doing some programming with a older adult independent living facility where it is more lifestyle medicine based, focusing on whole foods and plant-based foods and their physiological and mental health benefits. So a lot of it is through education more than anything. But certainly I think there's a place for us to be doing like the meal prep and management with clients for sure.
Thank you.
Of course.
Irene Zimmerman?
Yes, Irene, hi.
Yes, hi. Thank you for all the information you shared, very valuable. I have, maybe you can help me with this. put me in the right direction. I have arthritis, and I'm dealing with it with Dr. Colin's help. And I've been trying to look into nutrition and meditation and all this. Where can I go for nutrition information for arthritis pain management?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for condition-specific information, the first place I go to is the literature, but in terms of like more accessible, like patient handouts and things like that, that's a good question. I can look into some and I'd be happy to send them to Janet for you, but also the American College of Lifestyle Medicine actually has a lot of free handouts, patient-friendly handouts on, they do promote a predominantly whole food plant-based diet. But what I have read on arthritis is a lot of anti-inflammatory foods. I've seen information on turmeric, high antioxidant foods. Those all kind of fight off some of the oxidative stress associated with inflammation. But the initial website I would suggest is the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. They have a lot of nutrition handouts.
American College of Lifestyle Medicine.
Medicine.
Yes.
And I'll include some links to the American College of Lifestyle Medicine in the email that will go out after this meeting. Did you see the question from Jennifer about there are lots of maybe shoddy brain training out there with lots of hype? Is there a respected program that does an array like the one in the study?
Oh, yes, I see the question. Thank you for drawing that to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good question. I don't know of a specific program per se, just the ones I've read in the studies, but I think with brain training, it really is about our lifestyle behaviors around nutrition and physical activity. So the things I would say that are really beneficial is that aerobic physical activity. And then of course, eating, healthier foods, but I don't think that there's like one sort of golden standard training program for the brain. I think it's the things that we do day in and day out, those habits that we sort of establish around health that are really kind of have the long-term game for our brain health. So physical activity, nutrition, and then of course, keeping your brain stimulated as I suggested. So that can look different for different people. Maybe somebody else likes to do puzzles and you like to read, for example. So whatever it is that's obviously meaningful to you is the best way to go. But to my knowledge, perhaps someone else on the team or on the call might know, but I would think it's more about our cumulative lifestyle behaviors.
I'm gonna follow up on that question because I understand the lifestyle things those are separate. What I'm talking about is the list of things, and it was something like, mnemonics to help you remember stuff. Of course, I can't remember the rest of them, but a bunch of actual sort of exercises and tests. And this is something that there are lots of programs out there that will claim to you that, will boost your brain power and all that sort of crap. And want to charge you a lot of money. And I am not willing to do that because most of those, the data on them are not good. So I'm wondering if anybody on the call has any recommendations for a program that is more reliable and more along the lines of the list that you mentioned when you described the study.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while we're waiting for while we're waiting for somebody to weigh in on that, could you explain the acronym NEURO?
Yes, so I just put it in the chat too. So the N is
okay.
for nutrition, the E is for exercise, the U is for unwind, also associated with stress management. The R is for rest or sleep, and the O is for optimizing social connection.
I like that.
Yeah, those are all really good for the brain. So,
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Jennifer, I think it is about, lifestyle and the things we engage in are really better than any probably program could offer. But Macy, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
So one program that I've used in my practice for a few years is called Brain HQ. It's a website. It's very like vision oriented. And to be honest, I'm not sure how many programs they have that are the same as what were in the list, but I do know that it's science-based. It's used a lot in therapy. So that's one option. So.
Irene? Yeah, in my life that I've done, things that I've achieved, I've done the research and created my own exercise or things or programs for myself, designed them myself through research and through talking to people and sitting down and on the computer or handwriting with a pencil, and which I find it goes in and finding ways and designing your own programs according to what your research tells you need and at what level and how often, and then go through that yourself and design it. What Nancy and Macy says and what the others say, see what's out there and design one for yourself. It's very creative and very useful. Thank you.
But please remember to also get some input from your healthcare team.
I have Dr. Kogan. I do everything. I check in with him and everything. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't go wrong.
I'm glad to hear that. That makes me very happy.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully he'll be back with us next week. Dr. Amy, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
This has
Thanks
been wonderful. For those of us who are now almost 60, I can't believe that. And to those of us who are over 60, that's a lot of really great information that you shared with us. Okay, so I am going to add Catherine Miller, one of our favorite mind-body practitioners, and I'm going to remove Dr. Amy. And Dr. Amy, thank you again for coming. Hey, Catherine.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I was having some technical issues before. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being with me. I was going to take us through a few different exercises today. So without further ado, I invite you to get into a comfortable position, whether you're seated or reclined, or even laying down, if that's most comfortable for you. Perhaps if you want to grab a blanket or a pillow or cushion, anything that will help you relax and settle into yourself just a little more. Muting your phones if you need to, any distractions. And taking this time to just center and feel yourself in your seat or whatever is supporting your body at this moment. And wherever you are, I invite you to close your eyes or hold a soft gaze forward. And let's come together, taking a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, just sigh it out. Releasing your week. Any moments that you no longer want to take into our next 20 or so minutes together. And let's do this 2 more times. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Perhaps feeling the shoulders fall down away from the ears a little more, creating more space in our body with our breath. And once again, deep breath in through the nose. Exhale it out. I invite you to continue to breathe, this time breathing at a pace that feels most comfortable for you. Breathing in, breathing out. And as you breathe, I'll guide you through a brief mind, body, spirit check-in. We'll start first with our physical body. Asking yourself in the quiet of your mind, how does my body feel in this moment? How does my body feel in this moment? Perhaps a word comes to mind or a color comes to mind for you. If you want to share in the chat, you're more than welcome to. But if not, just allowing space as you breathe for that connection through your check-in to come to you. And now checking in with our mental body, with our mind. Ask your mind, how are you feeling in this moment? Again, this may come to you as a word, as a color. Allowing space as you breathe for your mind to answer your question. And finally, checking in with your spirit. Asking your spirit, how are you feeling in this moment? Noting however that answer decides to show up for you. Breathing, holding space for your spirit. And once again, I invite you to connect again with your breath, noticing your breath flowing in, flowing out through you. Feel free to adjust yourself if you're seated or reclining at any point during this practice. Anything you need to be as comfortable as possible. As you breathe, noticing your breath flowing in through your nostrils, filling your belly, lungs, upper chest. And as you exhale, feeling the breath flow out as if you're emptying out a glass of water from your chest, lungs, upper belly. Again, inhaling into the belly, lungs, upper chest, and exhaling out, upper chest, lungs, belly. Inhaling belly, lungs, upper chest, exhale out, upper chest, lungs, belly. I invite you to continue this 3-part breath. For the next minute or so, I'll set a timer on my end to mind the time. Just taking this time to really be with your breath, noticing it flowing in and out through you. Imagine following the path of your breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing in, breathing out. Here, I invite you to release the 3-part breath, returning to your natural, normal breath. Whatever breath just flows in and through you intuitively. And taking this moment to just check in, be aware of any changes in your breath, maybe even any changes in your body, changes in your mind, or changes in your spirit, without judgment. Just observing, noticing, as you would a loved one, as you would a favorite flower in a garden. Just taking it in. Continuing to breathe. We'll now guide our attention to our body as we do a gentle body scan for awareness. All of these practices helping us to bring deeper and deeper awareness to ourselves. As I call out these different parts of your body, I invite you to just simply notice them without movement, without feeling like you need to do anything active. Just being aware, just notice. Beginning with the right hand palm, wrist, elbow, right shoulder, whole right arm, whole right arm. Left hand palm, wrist, elbow, shoulder, whole left arm, whole left arm. Neck, back of the head, crown of the head, forehead, eyebrows, right eye, left eye, nose, cheeks, right ear. Notice hearing, receiving sound. Left ear. Notice yourself hearing sound. Lower jaw. Lips. Throat center. Heart center. Back of heart center. Lower rib cage. Belly. Navel center. Hip bones. Right hip. Right thigh. Knee. Calf. Right ankle. Right foot. Sole of right foot. Whole right leg. Whole right leg. Left hip. Left thigh. Knee. Calf. Left ankle. Foot. Sole of the left foot. Entire left leg. Entire left leg. Entire right side of the body. Entire right side of the body. Whole right side of the body. Whole front side of body. Whole back side of body. Notice whole body. Whole body. Whole body. Whole body as radiating energy. If it feels comfortable for you, I invite you to pick a color, radiating within and without, radiating into your body and out from your body, as if you are in a safe bubble or shape. Feeling this color fill your whole being. And as you breathe this color in, imagine it going to any places in your body that may feel stress, pain, need healing or relaxation. And as you exhale out, imagine exhaling out the color along with whatever it is you no longer desire to carry with you. Breathing in a color, a healing, radiating color for yourself. Feeling it move to any of those areas in your body that need it most. And as you exhale out, feeling that color flow out, just gently taking away what you no longer need. It's able to emanate outside of your safe bubble, your safe shape. Moving out into the earth, into the ether for transformation. I invite you to continue this breathing and visualizing practice for the next minute. And I will mind the time, breathing at a pace that feels most comfortable for you. I invite you to allow this visualization to just continue kind of running in the background for you. As we're now going to draw our attention and awareness to the soles of your feet. We've done some what has hopefully been relaxation practices for you. So we'll take a moment to just ground ourselves. Imagining that from the soles of your feet, as maybe they're touching the floor or any surface beneath you. Imagining that there are roots emanating out from the soles of your feet, perhaps moving down through the floor or the surface beneath you. And as they are running down through the floor, running down through the ground beneath the floor, that there are also roots coming up from Mother Earth, yearning to reach your roots, yearning to have a connection with you. This connection that will last beyond our session today. And perhaps using this as a reminder to yourself that you are always supported. No matter what is going on within you or around you, you are always supported. All you have to do is tap in take a moment of pause, reconnecting with your roots. And exhale it out. I invite you, as you are ready, to begin to make any small, gentle movements in your fingers, in your toes, perhaps in your wrists, your ankles. Maybe beginning to make larger, gentle movements or stretches for your body. Perhaps stretching out your arms, maybe doing gentle twisting in your back, any gentle movements to begin to bring yourself more fully into your physical body. Sometimes if we've been seated for a while, even as doing a relaxation practice, things may start to, or maybe just need a little bit more reawakening. Whenever you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes as we all come back together in our virtual space here. Thank you. Jeanette, I think you're on mute still.
There I am. That was very peaceful. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you all.
That is always much needed at any time, but especially during the holiday season. I think I could get an amen on that one, folks. So next week, hopefully Dr.
Amen.
Hopefully, Dr. Kogan will be back with us. Next week will be our last mindfulness experience for this year, and we will, of course, return in the new year. Now, next week, Dr. Lee Frame is going to give the wellness talk, and the fabulous Elizabeth Goldberg, co-founder of A Mindfulness Experience and a licensed massage therapist and wellness coach, will be doing our mind-body practice. So with that, I would wish you all adieu, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Thank you.